Good morning, Newport. I hope everyone is staying informed this election season as there are lies being spewed left and right. We'll get to that another time. First, there's a very pressing issue begging our attention. What should the city's stand-up paddleboard policy be?
I was just trying to accommodate Councilwoman Dixon's concern about the use of a leash.
Wear your leash at all times if available. That sounds like it's a little wobbly there. Are we going to require it or not? I just think we should be clear. It's not required.
It's not a requirement.
Recommend,
We
recommend wearing your leash?
At all times if available. So
No,
just put
take
the
all that
phrase.
out.
Oh, so it'd just be recommend wear your leash.
Yeah.
If it's there, wear it.
The flyers also recommended wearing a whistle on the paddleboard, which I don't quite understand, but it did work for Rose in Titanic, so maybe a good idea. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. And now, for the most unexpected report we've ever given. Mayor Duffy, who bills himself as the city's homegrown boat builder, is starting a marijuana farm. Looks like the only thing homegrown about Duffy is the 1/8 of OG Kush he'll sell you when your main connect runs dry. Not only is Duffy looking to cultivate marijuana where he builds his boats, but he's employed Councilman Peotter to help him navigate the process. This seems very hypocritical as both of the council members voted to outlaw weed dispensaries in Newport. I'm sure they just didn't want the competition cutting in on their product. And I'm not the only one making jokes. The internet went crazy with memes upon hearing this news. This issue goes back 3 months when citizen watchdogs first got wind of a potential employee-employer relationship between the two. Many questioned both Peotter and Duffy Duffield, but the councilman completely ignored the questions. That is, until someone finally caught Scott in the limelight.
Would you address the concerns from the community that you're somehow tied financially to Duffy Duffield, our mayor?
What?
So you want to explain what the allegations or the rumors are?
Go ahead.
You want me to respond?
Yeah.
So I don't have a connection. And I don't respond regarding clients. And I comply with the laws for reporting and for conflicts of interest. So, I'm sorry.
To avoid giving an answer, both council members went as far as to stop showing up at public forum meetings where they would be forced to answer questions from the public. Maybe they were just sparking up a doobie in the parking lot. Guys, I know the good spots in Newport. Hit me up if you need some recommendations. Why does any of this matter? Because an employment relationship means that Peotter now has a conflict of interest with Duffy's business ventures. So he's also not legally allowed to vote on anything that has to do with the harbor. The problem is that Peotter hadn't been recusing himself on matters related to the harbor and was potentially serving as his boss's proxy vote. Peotter finally joined Duffy in recusing himself on harbor matters after his conflict of interest was made public in recent weeks.
So if Mr. Duffield is not allowed to listen to this, cover your ears, I guess.
Yeah, technically they could, because it's on consent calendar, Mr. Duffield and Mr. Peotter can stay, but they probably should step out if you're going to talk about numbers 3 and 4.
That means 2 of our 7 city council members can't vote on any issue regarding the crown jewel of our city. How are they supposed to accomplish any harbor improvements if it is illegal to have input on anything harbor related? Duffy couldn't even vote on the paddleboard flyer. If Mayor Duffield does want to help the harbor, it seems that he would be best served not even serving office in the city.
I will be recusing myself on items 3 and 4 due to business conflicts.
Joining us tonight is the candidate running against Mayor Duffield, a Newport resident of many years and a devoted fan of dogs in the city, Tim Stokes. Your turn, Riley.
I'm here with Tim Stokes running for City Council this November 6th election. Thanks for joining us, Tim.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So tell us, what made you decide to run for City Council?
That's a good question. I think our city is going in the wrong direction, and I think we can do better. As we process through the kind of the campaign, we find out more things that we didn't know, and we're unearthing a lot of things that are just not becoming of our city council. So that is very much the reason why I decided to run for city council.
And what would you say is your campaign strategy?
Actually, just to listen to folks, listen to residents. I think that's the key to pretty much understanding the issues of Newport Beach. Being involved, I believe in a lot of community service. Being within community groups such as the groups that I've joined, Airfare, Line in the Sand. I was a founding member of Line in the Sand. Other groups, Newport Harbor Educational Foundation, and currently I'm president of the Friends of Newport Beach Animal Shelter. We're a funding group that supports our local animal shelter here in Newport Beach. Find every animal a forever home.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, quite easy to get everybody to, as they say, donate to the animals. We've been very successful doing that.
Yeah, it seems like, is it easier to get donations for the animal shelter or for your campaign?
Very much so, the animal shelter, and I do as well. I mean, I would feel the same way, so I'm very successful, although we've been very abundant within our campaign too as well. Great community support. We're just individuals. We haven't taken any money from developers, just individual folks and businesses, those types of things, a few community service groups.
Now, you said you listen to the community members about what they want. What do they think about everything that's coming out about our current city council members? Quite
surprised. When we asked the question of my opponent, do you employ Scott Peotter, he was unwilling to answer the question. So that gave everyone a lot of suspicion. When we asked Scott Peotter, he said it was a client matter or it was just a rumor. So then we started digging a lot deeper. Now we found out that he did indeed work for Mayor Duffy on a project up in Alianto, but they split the parcel in three and then got a cannabis cultivation license for that existing facility. Now the excuse that his campaign consultant said to the newspaper, remember Duffy hasn't ever answered the question, he's always gone through a campaign consultant as far as I know. So he said it was because he wanted to increase the value of his business. But a cultivation license is an individual license. You have to go through a background check to get those. So it was definitely for something that he was wanting to do, in my opinion.
Your opponent, Duffy, he stopped going to public forums when they started questioning about the employment with Peotter. Has he been back to public forums since?
No. The simple answer is no. He hasn't been back. He left early during the Oasis program, and we haven't seen him since. So.
He also did not respond to us about coming onto the show to clarify what's going on.
That's too bad. It's really one of those things. I think you accept that when you become a city council member, that you have to address issues that people want to address to you. I also believe the fact that council majorities are not the way to run our government. So do you walk up to the lectern and say something? Does it really mean something? Do you really have input, or has everybody made up their mind? I'd hope to think that everyone that walks up to the lectern is listened to, it matters, and then it actually matters to the way you vote as a council person. These are people you're representing. That's my as they say, marching tune.
That's great, because that's really what we need. We need a city council that listens to the public.
Yeah. And
it sounds like you would like to see a city that works with the public, with the commissions, all the way up into being listened to at a city council meeting.
Exactly. There's a lot of institutional knowledge in just our residents. I mean, you really, really, really understand that by just listening to folks, that people have a lot of history. They have a lot of forward thinking too. Just unbelievable. It's like, yeah, I'm getting excited right now. It's about having a lot of success with the council in that fashion, just working with the great people of Newport Beach.
Well, I wish you luck. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say to our audience?
I just would hope that folks look at my website. It's nb4tim.com. Look at what I stand for. I think the body of my work with the community groups in which I've done work with says a lot. It's not about what I'm saying, it's about what I've done. I tend to bring that forward. I believe in the old-fashioned work ethic of sweat equity, bringing a lot of things, doing the work before you get to, as they say, be the council person. I think you have to earn this position quite a bit. So I'm hoping for success in the next so many days, and we'll know on November 6th. I just hope folks vote for Tim Stokes.
Well, thanks for joining us, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hey, do you mind if I do it?
Go for it.
Back to you, Alex.
All right.
I like it, Tim. Thanks for coming on. Now, I know the big buzz from this episode will be the weed business, but remember, where there's smoke, there's fire, and even if it's weed smoke, the true problem here is the undisclosed conflict of interest with Scott Peotter voting on harbor matters while on the payroll of Mayor Duffy. Hey, we're just reporting the facts, and with weed being legal and all, I am down to blaze it up with either guy. In fact, we invited them both on the show, and they both refused to come on. Hold on, Good Morning Newport tip line. It is a real number, folks. Please give it a call. Hello? I'm sorry, what? You need an ounce of Blue Dream? Man, this is the Good Morning Newport tip line, not the Duffy Dispensary. Stoners, man. This is Alex Crawford saying from the back bay to the wedge, from Newport Coast to the river jetties, good morning, Newport.